पावन उत्सव आया रे, आओ खुशियाँ मना लो। पावन उत्सव आया रे, आओ खुशियाँ मना लो। तन मन ये हर्षाया रे, गुण माता के गालो। तन मन ये हर्षाया रे, गुण माता के गालो। पावन उत्सव आया रे, आओ खुशियाँ मना लो। पावन उत्सव आया रे, आओ खुशियाँ मना लो। मंडप चूनड़ का मन भाए, मंडप चूनड़ का मन भाए। रत्न अनूठे जूं चढ़वाए, रत्न अनूठे जूं चढ़वाए। इंद्र धनुषी छटा छाई रे, ओ इंद्र धनुषी छटा छाई रे। छवि मन में बसा लो, इंद्र धनुषी छटा छाई रे। छवि मन में बसा लो। पावन उत्सव आया रे, आओ खुशियाँ मना लो। धन्य भाग्य माता जी पधारी, धन्य भाग्य माता जी पधारी। स्वागत में गाए नर नारी, स्वागत में गाए नर नारी। ओ धन्य भाग्य माता जी पधारी, धन्य भाग्य माता जी पधारी। स्वागत में गाए नर नारी, स्वागत में गाए नर नारी। कण कण में माता जी समाई है, कण कण में माता जी समाई है। अपनी बिगड़ी बना लो, कण कण में माता जी समाई है। अपनी बिगड़ी बना लो। पावन उत्सव आया रे, आओ खुशियाँ मना लो। पावन उत्सव आया रे, आओ खुशियाँ मना लो। रोली मोली चूनड़ मंगाओ, रोली मोली चूनड़ मंगाओ। मैया का श्रृंगार सजाओ, मैया का श्रृंगार सजाओ। मेहंदी अनोखी लगे जो, हो मेहंदी अनोखी लगे जो। वो महावर रचा लो, मेहंदी अनोखी लगे जो। वो महावर रचा लो। पावन उत्सव आया रे, आओ खुशियाँ मना लो। पावन उत्सव आया रे, आओ खुशियाँ मना लो। पुष्प धूप सौरभ फैलाए, पुष्प धूप सौरभ फैलाए। अष्ट प्रहर तक भजन सुनाए, अष्ट प्रहर तक भजन सुनाए। आज सुअवसर आया रे, हो आज सुअवसर आया रे। माता जी को रिझालो, आज सुअवसर आया रे। माता जी को रिझालो। पावन उत्सव आया रे, आओ खुशियाँ मना लो। गूंज उठी मंगल शहनाई, गूंज उठी मंगल शहनाई। स्वर लहरी हर मन पर छाई, स्वर लहरी हर मन पर छाई। अंतर में ज्योत जगाए जो, ओ अंतर में ज्योत जगाए जो, वो जयकारा लगा लो। अंतर में ज्योत जगाए जो, वो जयकारा लगा लो। पावन उत्सव आया रे, आओ खुशियाँ मना लो। पावन उत्सव आया रे, आओ खुशियाँ मना लो। तन मन ये हर्षाया रे, गुण माता जी के गा लो। तन मन ये हर्षाया रे, गुण माता जी के गा लो। पावन उत्सव आया रे, आओ खुशियाँ मना लो। पावन उत्सव आया रे, आओ खुशियाँ मना लो। जयकारा बोलिए आदि शक्ति निर्मला माता जी की। पावन उत्सव आया रे, आओ खुशियाँ मना लो। पावन उत्सव आया रे, आओ खुशियाँ मना लो। पावन उत्सव आया रे, आओ खुशियाँ मना लो।
Good evening, everyone. Jai Shri Mataji. Welcome to this evening's program from Sydney. So for today's program, myself, Madhava, and my dad, my father, Jean-Michel, are going to be guiding the meditation. And we're going to start with a short meditation, and we will listen to a speech by Shri Mataji in which she talks about the roots, the knowledge of the roots. And there's some valuable knowledge in that talk, which we can all gain from. And then we'll conclude the program with a few questions and sharing some experiences.
Good evening, good morning, everyone. We are at Burwood Ashram, where Shri Mataji came in 2006 and 2007. And we are at the very spot where she was actually sitting, and where Madhava had the opportunity to offer a gift to Shri Mataji and a necklace, put a necklace on her. So it's a very special place for us and for everyone. And we can feel Shri Mataji's presence very much, and her love and care, amazing generosity, and the knowledge of the roots that she's talking about is basically our pure desire that we should have as a seeker, and we need to maintain that as much as possible, because this is the quality that makes us evolve and that keeps us in Sahaja Yoga.
So to begin this evening's program, we can start by singing Shri Mataji's 3 great mantras.
Tvamine Sakshat Shri Mahalakshmi Mahasaraswati Mahakali Trigunatmika Kundalini Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha. Tvameva Sakshat Shri Kalki Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha. Tvameva Sakshat Shri Kalki Sakshat Shri Sahasrara Swamini Moksha Pradayini Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha. Shri Nirmala Devi Shri Nirmala Devi Shri Nirmala Devi.
Take a moment to reflect within ourselves, asking ourselves, where is my attention? Shri Adi Kundalini, please establish my attention on my spirit. Please channel every single part of my attention onto my spirit and onto you, Shri Mataji. Just with our attention, we can bring it to our Sahasrara. If there are any thoughts that are there, we can simply ask ourselves, Shri Mataji, where is my attention? Where is my attention? If it helps to begin with, we can keep our eyes open and just simply look at Shri Mataji's lotus feet or her bindi. Just look at the kumkum on her lotus feet, on her agya, without any thoughts. We can take the mantra of Shri Ganesha.
Tvameva Sakshat Shri Ganesha Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo.
Switch the hands and bring our attention to our right Muladhara with our left hand on the Mother Earth, and say the mantra to Shri Kartikeya.
Tvameva Sakshat Shri Kartikeya Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha.
Mataji, ultimately you are Shri Ganesha and you are Shri Kartikeya. Please remove all the obstacles, prevent me from growing in my spiritual ascent, and from realizing the knowledge of the roots. Mataji, please remove all the misconceptions, all obstacles about my understanding of the roots. With our right hand on our left Swadhisthana, we can say one mantra to Shri Nimal Vidya.
Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Mala Vidya Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha.
Mataji, it is you, the source of all knowledge. Through my meditation today, and every other time that I meditate, please establish within me, within all of us, the pure knowledge of the Spirit. Please give me the pure knowledge about myself, about the divine, and about you, Shri Mataji. It's just the computers, because you've got like multiple applications running at the same time. It's maybe if you can just you can. Just, it could be. We can keep our attention at our Sahasrara. We can just continue to maintain our attention there. Maintain our attention there.
We can let our attention Just keep it simple. Let your connection with our mother and our father to be completely free, completely clear. In that state, we surrender ourselves. We open ourselves completely. Now we're going to play the talk by Shri Mataji.
Blindfolded. But you have to keep your mind open like a scientist to understand we have not yet found out the absolute truth. We live in a relative world, and that's why we have problems. So many problems you face today. Ecological problems are there, drug problems, sickness, this, that. And as if we feel there's a kind of a destructive force that is working. And we are really bothered. Some are frightened, who understand the devastation that is possible. The reason for all these problems is very simple, and if we can just go into the scriptures of all the religions, there is one common point about them. The common thing, all of them have said in essence one thing. And they have said that you have to seek the eternal. Seek the eternal. Not take it for granted that you have got it. Seek the eternal. And the transitory is to be used in its own limitations and understanding. Here we have gone wrong, because we have worried too much about transitory things and nothing about the eternal. The transitory things are transitory because it has got the built-in quality of getting destroyed. That's why they are transitory. Otherwise, they would have been eternal. This built-in quality in the transitory things brings forth all kinds of problems. When we look at these problems, we have to look back and see that by seeking eternal, how the solution can come. It's said in all religions that you have to be born again. That means they have indicated that we have to have a more greater dimension, a more awakened state, or a greater dimension of awareness. Not that to certify yourself as we are born again. If you just want to certify yourself and want to live in ignorance and a blind following another blind, it's not going to work out. One has to accept that so far we have not found the absolute, and that to find that absolute, we have to actualize the second birth. It's not some sort of an artificial baptism that is going to work out. Our fathers were baptized and their fathers were baptized, and we have been baptized and baptized and baptized. In every religion they have some sort of an artificial method of baptism. Whether it's Hindu, Christian, Muslims, everybody has. But nobody has actualized. And that actualization has to take place, for which the Creator must have created something great within us. When we see the civilization outside, and then we realize that there is something wrong in it, we have to know that this outside growth is like a tree growing outward, but the roots must be nourished. We must know the roots, and this is the knowledge of the roots. Now you have to take it as a hypothesis, whatever I am saying to you, not to take it for granted. It's a hypothesis. If it works, then in all your honesty, you have to accept it. It is being said by Jung, has said it clearly, that you have to get your self-realization by which you will have collective consciousness, a new dimension to your awareness. We say we are all brothers, all right. Every country is one country, God has created one world, they talk of United Nations and all that. But they are not. Let something happen and you will find all of them are hither and thither. Why? Why it happens this way? That we cannot see that unity in people who talk about it. We cannot feel that peace about which they talk. They have got peace foundations and they have got all kinds of organizations talking of big, big things, but we don't find that those who are running them have any peace within themselves. So with unreal things we cannot create reality. Thus, we have to realize that the time has come for us to take our second birth. If we want to have any meaning to our life, to our human life, we have to have our second birth. If we cannot have our second birth, our life is a waste. It has no meaning. Now the second birth is, I would say that in India, in Sanskrit language, we call a person who is twice born as Dvijaha, is the born twice. And the one who is born again also is called Dvijaha. Self-realized, a person who is born again is Dvijaha. And also a bird is called as Dvijaha. Means the bird, which is an egg first, and it has a second birth, and by that second birth, he becomes the real bird. First the egg and then the bird. This kind of second birth has to actualize within us. You try anything else, lecturing, sermoning, doing all kinds of things that people do, it's not going to work out. Because it's a living process of living energy of God. The living process works spontaneously. As like a seed, you have to just put it in the Mother Earth and it sprouts by itself. It sprouts, you can't say how, because the Mother Earth has got the potential and the seed has got the built-in power. In the same way, we all are built in to be that. Now, Sahaja Yoga, Saha means with, Jo means with you, is born, is the right to be united with the divine power which is all-pervading. Now, when I talk of all-pervading power of divine love, people might say, Mother is talking something which we don't believe in. You believe in it or not, it is so. Now see these flowers. It's a miracle. We can't create even one. Who does this work? And the choice. The roses will have roses. Jasmine will have jasmine. Chrysanthemums will have chrysanthemums. Who does this choice? Done by this divine power, which is very subtle and all-pervading. Only after realization, you can feel that power as cool breeze of the Holy Ghost, because that power is the Holy Spirit. That power is the one which we call it in Sanskrit language as Brahma Chaitanya. That power acts and works out all these wonderful things. Now, in our evolutionary process, we have reached the human stage. We have to go little further to achieve it. It's a very easy thing to do. It can be easily done, takes hardly any time. And I have to say that no amount of arguments can bring forth this happening. It has to work out within yourself. As a result of that, you yourself, in that enlightenment, know so many things, and that in that enlightenment, you know what is the absolute and what is not. In a way, we can say you become a saint. A saint who doesn't give up his family, his houses, anything. He lives as he has to live, with his own status, with his own family life, with whatever it is. Supposing Christ was born in a rich family, he would have lived like a king in complete detachment. And if he was born in a poor family as he was born, he lived like a carpenter's son. Because such a person has no attachments to things and is not bothered as to what is important to other people. What is the most important thing for such a person is the benevolence of others. He looks after the benevolence. And the benevolence is done not by money, by talking sweetly, but actually through the power that he has of vibratory awareness. Such a person has such innocent eyes that even a glance of that eye can do wonders. Now, through your Kundalini awakening, people have been cured of, definitely, of cancer and of so many diseases And in Delhi University, for your information, there are 3 doctors who have done their their MD with the thesis on 3 subjects. One, with the physical abilities in Sahaja Yoga. Second, epilepsy cured by Kundalini awakening. And third, for psychosomatic diseases. Psychosomatic diseases means so many diseases which are supposed to be incurable, like Parkinson's, cancer, AIDS. And they have got their MDs. Now in America, as you know, there's a rule that nobody can cure without the permission of your associations. But you don't do anything. Actually, your Kundalini itself rises. It's your own power that rises. And you get just cured. And how you get cured, that I'll be telling you tomorrow. How it works physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And how you become a different personality, a special personality who is endowed with collective consciousness, that you can feel the centers of another person and your own centers, and that you can raise the Kundalini of another person. All these things can happen to you, and you can become that powerful person as being described in the scriptures. So today, for the time being, let us think of getting your realization. And tomorrow again, I'll tell you how these diseases can be cured if we can get these centers enriched and nourished by Kundalini awakening. Talking about Sahaja Yoga and Kundalini is very easy and anybody can talk about it. But the main thing is to get your self-realization. I must have spoken in various places and thousands of lectures I must have given. But that is of no avail, because by lecturing you cannot get your realization. There's no end to this knowledge, but as for opening these lights, you have to just switch on one light, one switch. In the same way, it's all built in within you. Only thing, you have to get it, and you have to feel this all-pervading power. So now I think let's have the experience, will be the best idea. And if you have any questions, you may write them and give it to us. Tomorrow, I hope to answer all your questions. So I hope you would like to have your realization first. Is it all right? Good. I think those people who are very much far away could come forward, would be a better idea.
Shri Mataji, everyone. We can collectively give ourselves a
So welcome to Madhava and Jean-Michel. Here I am. I only just fit in the screen. Oh, yes, I fit in the screen. We had a couple of technical problems earlier again, but I think we got over them. Thank you for sticking with us. So we haven't had a father and son before, so I thought it might be a nice time to have some experience sharing, because I know they both have some wonderful experiences to share. So I was thinking a question that I would like to ask Madhava to start, that for those of you who don't know Jean-Michel and Madhava, Madhava was born into Sahaja Yoga. And I was interested in hearing about his experience in whether he ever felt that he had to make a conscious choice for Sahaja Yoga, because that choice, whether that choice came for me and for Jean-Michel, but not for Madhava. So Madhava, was there ever a time that you thought that you knew that Sahaja Yoga was for you?
Yeah, thank you for asking the question, Auntie Janet. So I was born into Sahaj and have been meditating 27 years now, and I think regardless of whether you're born in Sahaj or not, I think there's always a decision to make, because ultimately, even though we're realized now, we're still seeking in some way. We're always seeking to connect with our spirit and connect closer with Shri Mataji. So for me, I very much felt that when I was in high school. So I would say probably the last 2 years of high school, the HSE, I felt that was a challenging time for me, especially growing up in an Australian high school where that's where really a lot of negativity starts to attack. When you're that age, kids start getting involved in drinking, and that's the reality, like drinking and drugs, and that's when there are challenges that you have to face, and you have to make decisions. Even though I was born realized, I still have to make a decision, on my own, like whether Sahaj is something for me, and I think that whether I think Sahaj can help me. So for me, I think what really helped me was that I think growing up, and especially going to ISPS, I think that was where that was like a very important time in my life. I think as a child, going to the Himalayas is a very important part to establish your Sri Ganesha principle. And I think that foundation, that really strong foundation, helps you later on in life and helps you get through those tough times. So that was like a pretty significant stage of my life where I felt like I had to almost like seek again, almost in some ways, as if like you're used to Sahaj in some ways, but in many ways, of course, I was always in touch. I was always in contact with yogis, and always attending collective programs, but there are times where you can get negativity and tries to pull you around, and you have to make a decision. Like we all have that freedom to take a path that we feel is good for us, and whether that's now or whether it's later, for everyone it happens at different points in our life. So I mean, for me, it ultimately came down to that I knew that even when I made decisions that weren't good for my spirit, I knew deep down that these things that weren't good for my spirit weren't sustainable. So therefore, the only other alternative was to resort to Sahaja Yoga and what Sahaja Yoga actually offers. And that's a spiritual life. That's a life where you can learn about yourself and learn about, especially learn about your spirit. That's essentially what it comes down to. So, yeah.
And Jean-Michel, being a parent is a big responsibility, but being a parent of a born realized soul, I think there's another layer there as well. So would you have any experiences to share being a parent of a born realized soul, or any advice or something that helped? Or
Yes, look, I found it very easy to be with realized children, because Madhava is talking about his experience when he had to make decisions, which is I could see that, but at the same time, when we know Shri Mataji, as we've been very privileged to know her closely, and in our meditation, I always felt my two children, how they are deeply in themselves. I could feel it. So I never had really any doubt or any issue about them. And Shri Mataji takes care of everything. When they went to India school, we never felt the distance. It's as if they were still here. When they came back, there was no feeling of they coming back. It's as if they never left. And all the other challenges that we experience as parents, in Sahaja Yoga, they are more sustainable because Shri Mataji takes care. She really takes care of us. And that's the main thing. You know, these decisions that Madhava is talking about, we all had to do it when we came to Sahaj. We had to decide what do I want out of my life? And to the point where we were facing Shri Mataji and we asked her, please give me a realization. And then talking about the roots, for me, what triggered me to become a Sahaja Yogi is in one meditation, after 4 months of my realization, I had a meditation where I felt my attention was going deep down inside myself. And I felt it touched the tip of my roots. And at that point, I knew that was the truth. And then I became a yogi. But all this process is there because of our desire. As a born realized, your desire has to express the desire to become one with the divine. And this will take maybe your lifetime to achieve, but this desire is fundamental. And when we ask for self-realization, what do we ask? We're asking, Mother, please give me this reality. When we're talking about God Almighty, we all talk about it in a religion, whether it is Christian, Muslim, Hindu, Buddhist. We all talk about ultimate truth, ultimate spiritual nature. But when we have the chance to be able to ask to the divine herself, this is for me, that is the completely new dimension. And every day I enjoy that. I enjoy that beautiful thing that we have, where we are asking, Father, please come in my heart. Mother, please come in my heart. This is amazing, isn't it? And then we have children who can feel it in a different way, with a new, more dynamic way than we would have done. So it's even easier, even better.
You mentioned before, Jean-Michel, that Shri Mataji was here in this room and the experience that Madhava had. Do either of you have an experience with Shri Mataji that stands out for you? Something that you would like to share? Because these stories have such amazing vibrations.
I mean, I only have probably a handful of experiences where I either seen Shri Mataji or was in her presence, or maybe I think maybe once in my life I had a dream. But my dad probably has many more like experiences on tours and in India and stuff, which might be interesting to hear. But I just remember a dream I had. It was a time where I was feeling like, again, I was in this period where I was sort of struggling with, deciding what it is what it is my spirit needs. And I think in that time where vibrationally it was more difficult, I just remember having a dream where Shri Mataji was there, and it was almost like she was like on a battlefield, and there were like literally like skulls everywhere, and she was there, and she was like a ray of light, and just like cleaning up all of these it was pretty intense, but that's what it was. It was her like cleaning away, cleaning all this negativity with light, like with vibration. So
yeah,
it was just like a moment that I remember.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because I haven't had that many experiences with Shri Mataji in her form, but I have had some, and they have been amazing. But the ones that have probably been the strongest are the ones where she has come into my attention, or I have felt that she is directly speaking to me, even though she is not in her physical form. And I remember you mentioned a dream. I remember many, many years ago when I first started in Sahaja Yoga, and I wanted to go to India. And there were so many obstacles to get there, family obstacles, work obstacles, inner obstacles to get me to go to India. And I remember thinking, if I experience the miracle of being able to go to India and see you, Shri Mataji, when I come back, I'm going to start programs. And I was only in Sahaj probably, maybe a couple of years. And I remember all the obstacles disappeared, and I ended up going to India. I saw Shri Mataji in her form. And when I came back, I started a program, and I remember being so nervous during doing this program. But that night, I had the most intense dream I have ever had of Shri Mataji, where she just came to me and she gave me a hug. And I felt that it was real. It wasn't a dream. It was real. And that was something that intensified my understanding of who Shri Mataji is, because that continues to grow after our realization. It will continue to grow, and through our lives as Sahaja Yogis, we gain a greater understanding of who Shri Mataji is. So yes, definitely these experiences are not always when we are in her physical presence. Jean-Michel, do you have something you would like to share?
Yeah, look, the most significant experience I had with Shri Mataji was in 1990. I was in Shri Mataji's house in India, in Pratishthan, and she asked a few yogis to help sorting things. And prior to being in India at that time, I've had difficulty in my meditation, and I could not understand anymore what was my position and how the protocol in Sahaja Yoga and all of these things, how to be with Shri Mataji in our meditation and things. I got confused for different reasons. And I remember I was in France at that time, and I was so confused. I ended up bowing down at Shri Mataji's feet in the meditation room, and I was nearly crying because I could not progress anymore. And I remember clearly asking her, "Mother, I need to know you because I don't understand you anymore. And I need to meet you, I need to know you." And then I forgot about this. And then about 3 months later, I was on India tour. And on the first day of the India tour, the person responsible of our group was asking for people to go and help Shri Mataji in her home, and I just proposed myself to go. And we stayed a few days in Shri Mataji's home, and we were 7 yogis from different countries in her bedroom, and she was telling us, okay, we have these boxes, we have to sort out these things. And so we were really sitting at her feet, basically, and for the whole day, for 3 days. And I remember when I was sitting in front of Shri Mataji, I was looking at her in awe, because I thought she was very beautiful. She was very simple, very normal, natural, so much my mother, but in a very deep way, but at the same time in a very simple way. And I looked at her, I remember, and I was praying inside myself when I was watching Shri Mataji. I was asking her, Mother, I wish I have this simplicity that you have. I was completely impressed by that, because hearing about some people sometimes saying, oh, you cannot do this, protocol is like this, like that. This confused me, because the relationship with ourselves, with our spirit, or with the divine, it's like breathing. It should be very easy. And that's how I saw Shri Mataji there, is how simple it is to be one with the divine. There is nothing complicated. So that was, I think, that the most significant experience with Shri Mataji. I've had other experiences in different ways about different aspects of the chakras or deities. This is my whole life of Sahaja Yoga. It's like a staircase with different steps of evolution. It's very fascinating.
Well, thank you, Jean-Michel. Thank you, Madhava,
Thank you.
for joining us this evening. Thank you, everyone, for joining us as well. We hope that you can join us again next Tuesday. For any of you who would like to listen to a little bit more of music, please stay. We have a beautiful video of Shri Mataji at Ganapati Pule, the musical program. I know you'll enjoy. Jai Shri Mataji. Thank you, everyone.
Jai Shri Mataji.
Shri Mataji observed it. So in the way they are swinging to the music. This is the strength of music. Now may I present before you Sham Jain. He's rendering. He's rendering before you Rag Patadeep, one of the favorite ragas of the family of Sadhus. की छवि मधुहासनी माँ की छवि आसे भूले धरती काली मधुहासनी माँ की छवि मधुहासनी माँ की छवि आसे भूले धरती काली मधुहासनी माँ की छवि सब